Here are the 8 most common mistakes most home service business owners make with their pricing. So if you own a home service company, if you're just starting one right now, or if you're looking to start one in the future, follow along because I'm going to break down every single one, tell you what you should be doing instead of that, and show you how you could be costing yourself tens of thousands of dollars by not having your pricing structure set up correctly. Number one, and this is the most common mistake out of all the 8, you want to avoid this at all costs. Number one, most business owners, before they start their business, they do market research. And so they look around what their competitors are charging, they look at their services and their prices, and they get the average of 5 or 10 or 15 companies in their area. Once they have that average, they decide they're going to charge about 10% less than what their competitors are charging. And that is the worst thing you can do. Do not do that. Most business owners do this for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they're timid, they're not confident with their sales skills, they just want to have a competitive advantage by having a lower price, and just a lot of other things. But what happens is that becomes a race to the bottom. And what people don't see is the bigger picture, is that most companies in your area are already doing that same thing. And so a lot of home service industry or service home service businesses have done that year over year over year. And so the service price is way underpriced currently. So companies just keep coming in and undercutting, and it leads to a super low price that has become the industry norm, but it's not profitable or sustainable at all. And what you don't realize is most businesses you see are failing. They're not making money, they're not profitable, they don't have a lot of cash in the bank. And so if you follow the same thing they're doing, you're going to get to the same place they're at. And even worse, if you go lower than they're at, you're going to get to the bottom even quicker. So do not do this. Low price services also bring in price sensitive customers who usually don't pay on time, they complain more, don't leave great reviews, and so you just want to avoid this strategy at all costs. Instead, what you want to do is charge more. So if I'm you, I'm not even going to look at what my competitors are charging. I don't want to know what it is. If you want to look at it just so you can know for sales purposes, that's fine, but don't base your price on your competitors' pricing. So charge a premium. You want to charge more because if you charge more, you're going to make more. You're also going to get higher quality customers who are paying more, and higher paying customers also leave more reviews and give you more referrals, and they're lower maintenance. So all around, it's a better situation for you, the company, the growth, and it becomes a steamroll effect where you're getting better customers who give you better reviews, who send you to better customers, and they keep paying you more, so you have higher margins to go out and market in different ways. So do not compare yourself to your competitors, charge a premium, and then go deliver an amazing service that can back up that price point. Number 2, a lot of home service business owners come from working an hourly job. So they come from fast food, or they're working as a technician in that same field, or different jobs where they were getting paid $15, $20, $25 an hour, and now they want to break into ownership, which is amazing. But a mistake they make is they charge what they're used to being paid. So they come from a job where they're making hourly, and they're so used to their time being worth that much money, so they equate their time going forward as roughly the same. And so they charge 25, 30, maybe a little bit more, maybe 40 an hour for the job they're performing, when in reality you should be charging way more. So do not charge based on what you're used to making in the past. What you want to do instead is find your break-even point as a business. So go through all of your monthly expenses. So if there's utility bills, there's fuel costs, there's insurance, there's you might have rent, supplies, chemicals, equipment, all those things. Tally up all the expenses and find that total number, and that's going to be your break-even point. So if it comes out to $4,000, you need $4,000 in revenue to just break even, but you want to go above that, obviously. So if you have a number of services that you're used to providing every single month, say you provide 20 every month, and 4,000 is your break-even point. If you charge $200 per service, you're going to break even. If you charge $300 per service, you're going to make some money. So this is an okay way to figure out how much you should be charging, but it's not the best way. But what you don't want to do is charge what you're used to making, because you want to be making a lot more. So just leave that behind, and you're going to start charging way more going forward using some of the tactics we talk about next. Mistake number 3. Most business owners focus on the wrong metric, or they understand it incorrectly. So they focus on profit. They say, hey, I'm going out to do this job. It's going to take me about 2 hours of my time. It's going to take $10 of gas, and it's going to cost $10 of equipment. Let's say they value their time at $60 total, so that's $80 total of costs. And they say, cool, if I charge $100 for this job, I'm going to make 20%. 20%, great profit margin, and they charge $100 for that job. Now, the reason this is not okay is because you have a ton of other expenses you're not accounting for. And so if you're just focusing on profit, there could be rent, there could be insurance, there could be utilities. Most of all, there's taxes you don't even account for up front. So you do not want to focus on the wrong version of profit. Whenever you go into a job, focus on gross profit. So gross profit is what it costs to do the job. So if you're going to go and do a job, you want to focus on the three things: direct labor costs, fuel costs, and then supply or chemical cost. Those are the three things that go into the cost to do the service. Your gross profit should be between 70 and 80%. It could go down to 60, but if you want to be doing really great, keep it up between 70 and 80. So if you're going to go out and do a job in that same scenario, and it's going to take 2 hours, and you value your time again at $30 an hour, so that's $60, and $10 gas, $10 of equipment, you're up to $80. You need to be charging more than $300 or $400 for that to be in the gross profit range that you want it to be. And the reason this is so important for your business is because as you scale and as you grow, your gross profits, if that's out of whack, your business will go downhill very quickly. But if you can keep the cost per service under 20 to 30%, no matter how fast or how big you grow, you're going to have a huge margin for all the other costs of the business. Whether it's an office admin you hire, or marketing money you pour into online marketing, or insurance and taxes and office rent, or more equipment, whatever you need, you're going to have so much cash there because it costs you so little to do the service in relation to how much you're getting paid to do the service. So keep your gross margins between that number, and anytime you're doing a job, focus on keeping that between 70 and 80%. Focus on gross profit, not just profit. Mistake number 4. A lot of young and new business owners charge from their own wallet. And that phrase comes from Cody Sanchez's book, Main Street Millionaire. But what that means is they charge what they would pay for that service. A lot of business owners are young, they're hustlers, they're fresh out of college or even fresh out of high school. They don't even own their own house. They don't have a lot of things they pay for. And so their perception of money is way lower than the average homeowner and people that are actually paying for their service. So a lot of people out there with gutter, window washing, power washing, pest control, all those things, they just think, what would I pay for that thing? And in a lot of ways, it's not a lot because they don't have the money for that service to be done for themselves, and they don't even have a home for someone to come do that service for them. So you need to break out of that mindset of your own wallet and think in terms of a much higher profile customer. What would they pay for that service? What would someone in a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house pay for that? What would someone pay who has $300K salary that doesn't want to do this kind of stuff around their house? So don't charge from your own wallet. Think bigger, break through those beliefs, and be willing to charge numbers that are uncomfortable to you. You'll know when you're charging the right number when someone asks you what the price is and you stumble a little bit the first time saying it because it's such a big number coming out of your mouth. That's when you're going to know you're on the right track, and then go a little bit higher and a little higher. Mistake number 5. Owners forget to factor in the cost of their time doing the service. What I mean by that, early on, a lot of business owners wear all the hats. So they do the sales calls, they do the emails, the routing, the text, they go out and do the service itself. So they're the ones that are spraying or cutting or washing or whatever it is at the customer's house. And because they're a one-man show, they forget that their time is eventually going to be worth an employee's time going forward in the future. So they go out and they do jobs, and customers have them come out for 2 hours of work, and it's going to cost the business $15 of gas, $15 of equipment, so $30. And the business owner thinks to himself, okay, $30 a cost. What if I charge $60? And they think, okay, cool, I'll make 50% on that. I'll make $30 on that job. And they do the job, get the $60. They paid 30 for it, and so they're like, cool, I made $30 on that. Now, this can work for a short period of time. You can make a little bit of money doing this, but what you realize is, 1, you're probably not making more than you were at your last job, and 2, you're going to run into a lot of issues when you go to hire an employee. You haven't left any room for paying an employee. So if you had an employee go do that, it's 2 hours of his time. Do you even have margin there to fit in an employee hourly pay plus all the other costs that are coming out of it? So what you need to do from day one of your company, factor in your time as employee time. And so I would suggest at least $20 to $25 per hour for each job. and you'll eventually be able to get employees maybe for 15 up to $20 per hour. And this will give you an even bigger buffer when you go to hire someone. But for all of your jobs, factor in your time as a cost. So again, back to point number 4, you have direct labor as a cost, equipment or supplies, and fuel. And never forget to factor in your time as one of those costs. Mistake number 6, a lot of business owners are service focused rather than results focused. So when they're thinking of their pricing or ready to quote a job, they just think about the service itself, whether it's pulling the weeds or cutting the lawn or cleaning the gutter or power spraying the driveway, whatever it is. They just think about the service itself and what they should charge for that exact service. What you need to do instead, zoom out and think about the results. So rather than what would someone pay for a power spray of their gutters, what would someone pay so that they would never have to worry about things getting clogged or things getting messy and never have to do that themselves? Or they could spend their Saturdays never having to go out and do those chores. They could watch football instead. So that just completely changes how much something's worth to a customer when all this time that's what it's worth to them. But we as a business owner think of it in just a service mind. So take away the service itself and always think about the results. What would someone pay for this end result? And a lot of times you have to ask a few layers deep because you're not used to asking these questions. So with pest control, sometimes business owners think, okay, what would someone pay to not have bugs? Okay, go a little bit deeper. What would someone pay to not have to worry about ants getting into their food? Okay, go a little bit deeper. What would someone have to pay? What would someone pay to not have their kids get stung or bit, or be able to enjoy their backyard and their grill and not need to worry about spraying stuff, or enjoy their Saturday mornings and never have to do those chores themselves? So go deeper. Don't get service level. Go very deep with those questions, and the ticket that you charge will go higher the deeper you go. Mistake number 6, a lot of business owners are service focused rather than results focused. So when they're thinking of their pricing or ready to quote a job, they just think about the service itself, whether it's pulling the weeds or cutting the lawn or cleaning the gutter or power spraying the driveway, whatever it is. They just think about the service itself and what they should charge for that exact service. What you need to do instead, zoom out and think about the results. Rather than what would someone pay to get their lawn cut, what would someone pay to have a pristine lawn that the entire neighborhood looks at and is jealous of? That changes the perception of the price that you should charge. Same thing for pest control. Rather than what would someone pay for me to come spray chemicals on their house, what would someone pay to know that their kids won't get stung or bit or whatever the bugs are in your area? It's a lot more. Or rather than what would someone pay for the driveway to be sprayed, what would someone pay for the peace of mind that they can drive in and out of their change that one. So rather than what would someone pay for a power spray of their gutters, what would someone pay so that they would never have to worry about things getting clogged or things getting messy and never have to do that themselves? Or they could spend their Saturdays never having to go out and do those chores. They could watch football instead. So that just completely changes how much something's worth to a customer when all this time that's what it's worth to them. But we as a business owner think of it in just a service mind. So take away the service itself and always think about the results. What would someone pay for this end result? And a lot of times you have to ask a few layers deep because you're not used to asking these questions. So with pest control, sometimes business owners think, okay, what would someone pay to not have bugs? Okay, go a little bit deeper. What would someone pay to not have to worry about ants getting into their food? Okay, go a little bit deeper. What would someone have to pay? What would someone pay to not have their kids get stung or bit, or be able to enjoy their backyard and their grill and not need to worry about spraying stuff, or enjoy their Saturday mornings and never have to do those chores themselves? So go deeper. Don't get service level. Go very deep with those questions, and the ticket that you charge will go higher the deeper you go. So let's put this all together. Let me give you a real-time example. So if I owned a window washing company, first things first, we need to break through those mindsets. So you don't want to charge for your own wallet, and you want to think of the results. What's someone going to pay to have an amazingly clean house and windows and beautiful windows to look out of? So break through those mindsets first, and then you can get into the actual numbers. Because if you never break through those mindsets, you're going to say the right numbers but have the wrong feeling behind it or the wrong beliefs, and people can feel that. You're not going to be confident. So we've broken through those mindsets. We own this company, and someone calls in and they need a window washing job done. And it's a pretty big house, but we charge premium no matter what the size of the house is. So they tell us the square footage, and we realize it's going to take us about 3 hours to do this job. Fuel cost is going to be about $10, and equipment is going to be $15. So 3 hours, I'm going to factor in $25 per hour for my employee. That's $75. $10 of fuel, 85, and then $15 of equipment. That's $100. If I'm quoting this job, I'm charging no less than 350 and upwards of 450 to 500 bucks. That's going to get you in the range of 70 to 80% gross margins, and you're going to have a ton of wiggle room for all your other expenses. And the great thing is, most home service businesses don't have a lot of other expenses. They have insurance, they have utilities, phone bills, some CRMs, some softwares, but outside of that, you can take home 50% plus profits if you're charging the right numbers. So that's just a real time example of what you should charge. And then, of course, once you go out, once you get the job, do an amazing service, go above and beyond, provide the customer with excellent service, and they're going to be super happy. So they're going to pay you a lot. You're going to be dealing with a high profile customer who's then going to give you great reviews and great referrals if you do a great job. And with those reviews and referrals, you're again going to charge them a high price. With those reviews, people are just going to naturally flow to your website and to your Google listing because people are leaving great reviews with pictures, and you can continue charging more and more and more. So that's how you price a job. That's how you take home more money. That's how you build a profitable company that can scale. Do it the right way, and you're going to be super happy with what you do.